Are the Blackhawks done adding this offseason? If so, how could they line up? We'll discuss it next on CHGO Blackhawks. Happy Thursday. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi, and Chloe Thiel is here running the show as always. Well, not as always. We've learned today. She'll be away from us next week because she hates us. That's right.
It's my bad.
That's how I read it.
Everything was great till I showed up.
That is factually correct. Do us a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that great stuff. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app because you're old school like me, follow or subscribe on your favorite app. And hey, why not leave us a 5-star review in celebration of America 250?
Sure.
Yes.
That's as good a reason as any other.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I got my USA hockey hat on. You got your Hacksaw Jim Duggan shirt on. Yeah. Mario, why do you hate America?
I'm green.
He's green with envy.
I'm supporting Gray's Lake. That's in America.
Supporting
so that counts.
Vast fields of grass.
Yes.
Empty and unoccupied.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for being with us.
Much better than anything else that Gray's Lake is trying to build. That's not this show, though.
That's a GRLK podcast network.
Sure.
Where did I do that?
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for being here. Here's what we're going to do today. Kyle Davidson spoke yesterday. What was it, around 3 o'clock?
Yes.
After free agency wrapped up for the team, they got a couple things done after that, but, you know, two-way deals, Rockford deals and such. And we're going to share with you, he was asked, basically, are you done adding this offseason? And here's what he had to say.
So, are you done for today or for the off season, or do you have a sense of if there's anything more coming?
I think we've got maybe some two-way things that we're still working on. I don't think you're ever done for the off season. The season's a long way away, and so you're always going to be talking, always going to be interacting with teams. But yeah, it's all we've really got going right now. So,
would you be good with, like you said, still a long way away, but if this is the group going into training camp?
Yeah, we would. Yes, I believe we've filled some spots that we wanted to shore up, while also again leaving runway for some young players to continue their development and growth into roles that they've already started to kind of mature into. But at the same time, we're going to keep looking into what's available to us and making sure that we're leaving no stone unturned to try and maximize our roster potential going into the season.
All right, that was Kyle Davidson yesterday, kind of saying what he always says, right? Like, well, we feel good about things now, and if the season started today, we'd feel pretty okay about things, but we're always looking, we're always searching, which is the very political answer. I'm sure it's also true. I don't think Kyle Davidson yesterday was like, I got my coals and I'm done.
Yeah, I'm turning off my cell phone till September.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we all had to remind ourselves, just generally when talking about sports, that the people who are running the team are not nearly as stupid or disconnected as we think they are sometimes. Like, they are, if you think we're obsessed, they're 10 times more obsessed. Kyle Davidson is aware he needs a top 6 winger for Connor Bedard. That's why he was going after Matthew Nyes. That's why he was sniffing around Jason Robertson. There just hasn't been anything in his mind that's made sense. Maybe we disagree. We'll get into that a little bit on tomorrow's mini pod. But I think the search is still happening. But let's operate this way, right? If this is the roster, if this is the team, do you feel it is significantly improved from last year's team? And is it improved enough to really get the attention of, the Chicago sports fan and to make people feel like this thing is truly headed where Kyle Davidson believes it is?
Are they better than they were that last game against San Jose? Yes, I think so. You've added some veteran depth, some size, some physicality. You've improved the PK, which you needed to do after all the trades last year.
You've addressed the PK.
Right. I mean,
we'll see how it actually pans out.
It's improved from what it was the last game of the year.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it going to be better overall than the second-rated PK in the league? I'm not holding my breath on that one.
Right.
But you lost some key pieces, and now you've brought in guys to fill in those holes. Will they do as good as those last group remains to be seen. I mean, I think it's a better team. I also think it's going to be a better team because all these first, second-year pros are going to be better.
That's the key part.
Yes, and that's what has to happen. That's
what he's banking on.
That's always been what he's been banking on,
right.
and we got our expectations up after the Bo Byram trade. Like, oh, this is showing he's ready to go for broke, and that wasn't necessarily the case. Yeah, he tried Matthew Nyes, but that price was too high. You're not giving up Anton Frondell and
tried twice.
Yeah, I mean, he's been trying to get him.
He's tried twice,
but it just hasn't come to what he thought makes sense to the team. And giving up reportedly Anton Frondell and 4th overall, that makes no sense for your team.
Dumb.
That makes you worse.
I honestly don't know if I would do Frondell for him straight up.
No, not now.
I don't think so.
I think Matthew Nyes is who he is. We don't know what Anton Frondell is.
Right. But I feel like he could be close to that. A 3rd overall pick should be a 60-some point guy.
He better be better.
He better be better.
He better be.
You better,
right.
like, if
I'm not saying next year.
He should be higher than that.
But when he's Matthew Nyes' age and with that much experience, he should be the better player.
He should be better, yes. So, it's a better team, and everybody is like, oh my God, these young guys didn't have great years last year. Well, yeah, but most young guys get better year to year. Mm-hmm. That's how this works. So when you see all these models that come about, even with these new rosters, the Blackhawks are still 31st. Well, they're not factoring in development and progression. Those numbers are based on how those guys played last year. And if they all play like they did last year, then that's a serious, serious problem that will need to get addressed. But logic tells you that all those guys, now are all of them going to be amazing all-stars? No. But all those guys are going to play better and produce more. And if there are guys that don't or take a step backwards, then those are the guys you move on from.
Yeah, and I think part of the conversation regarding the development is that there's 2 parts to it for me. One is not every young player is at the same stage. Not every young guy is taking their first steps onto the NHL ice this season and having to figure it out. Kanserov is. Frondell, he'll be a full-on rookie, but he's had 12 games in the NHL, so it's like it's not going to be as much of a shock for him. And then Nazar's been in the league a few seasons. Oliver Moore and Nick Lardis played half of the year here last year. Ryan Green played the entire season here last year. Bedard, this is year number 4. Levshinov was here all last year. Like they're not all first year NHL rookies with their heads, spinning because this is an all new experience. Like some of them have been around for a little bit. That sort of shock should be out of their system. And the other part of it is this is going to feel like a different season than last year. Last year you had a brand new coach, head coach, and coaching staff, and you had a condensed schedule with the Olympics where you were playing and traveling so many games so frequently. We heard all through last year from the players, from Blashill, at multiple times, the amount of practice that they weren't having was having an effect on them to where they would, just have like an optional skate, game, travel, practice, game, optional skate, travel, practice. Like they didn't have time to actually implement things, and kind of when that, when your fundamentals would start to slip, playing just game, and you might be loss, you wouldn't be able to kind of stop it with some practice and some time to kind of like get your head back together. Like you just kind of had to figure it out on the fly. And that was obviously very difficult for the team, and I'm sure especially for those young guys. So those 2 things being different going into this year with, how the schedule will play out, even though there's 2 more games. And all those young guys being, a little bit down the road in their, first taste of the NHL. I think that makes a difference.
And not every young player is going to jump at the same rate. And I think, I know there are different positions and different levels of prospect, but I think we can use Sam Renzel as a bit of a cautionary tale, where he looked great at the end of 2 seasons ago, and we're like, oh man, that's done. You can set and forget that. He's going to be here for the next 10 years and be a stud. And then he had a little bit of a setback his rookie year and had to go to Rockford and figure things out, and really never, in my mind, got back to the level he was at the end of 24-25, when it was almost like he was just playing on pure adrenaline. And I think I'm not as concerned about that for Anton Frondell, but I think to expect 9 points every 12 games from Anton Frondell might be, especially if he's playing center, there's more responsibility there. So expecting that kind of a thing from him might be.
Yeah, but what if he does?
But that's the thing, and that's what we talked about yesterday is the ifs, the what ifs. If Kanserov is ready and comes out of the gate and is good right away, and Frondell continues that pace, then the conversation changes. Even if you get, maybe Nick Lardis just becomes, you take his numbers from last year and double them, right? So 20 goals instead of 10, right? And Ryan
goals.
Green, he played most of the season, but maybe he gets 3 or 4 more go in that hit the post or she shot wide.
Sure.
Oliver Moore, continued growth in a stable role, right? Like, okay, you feel like Tavo bounces back, but Bertuzzi probably doesn't duplicate what he did. So you got to have a little balancing there of your expectations. It's just, there is so much of this roster as currently constructed that is built on hope and what if. And look, Kyle Davidson just signed a contract extension. And I don't know if he's just not feeling that pressure, if he's looking at this as like, we are in phase 2 of probably a 3-phase rebuild, right? Is I've got these tank, gather prospects. That part is done. Mm-hmm. Now you are in the get the prospects here and develop them phase. And then when they feel like that is properly accelerated, then maybe in his mind it's time to add. For us, for you guys, it's going way too slow, and I get it. And again, the 3 of us on board with the rebuild, all those qualifiers, but it really feels like this is the time where it needs to happen. And look, is a Patrick Kane or an Anders Lee or a Matthew Nyes going to make this team significantly 4 or 5 wins better? Probably not. But it takes pressure away from Kanserov and Frondell to have to come into this team and be your number 2 and 3 offensive options from jump. That's a tough ask, especially, like I said, moving Frondell to center and saying, okay, we have decided based on vibes that you're a center. You didn't play it at all in Sweden. You hardly played it in Chicago, but we have declared center. So now you are our number 2 center. Figure that out. And also we need you at a 9-point every 12 game pace. Mm-hmm. It's a lot to ask. I think Kanserov and Frondell are both capable of it, but it is a lot to ask.
I'm looking at last year's production total, right? You had 2 players reach 20 goals in Bertuzzi and Bedard. They reached 30 each, 30 for Bedard, 32 for Bertuzzi. You only had 2 players reach 50 points or more. Same 2 guys, 75 for Connor, 58 for Bertuzzi. This year, looking at who's around, who's going to get the opportunities and the talent that is there, I think it's fair to say that Bedard, for sure, Bertuzzi, Frondell, Kanserov, I think those 4 guys can top 50 points.
Nazar better point.
Nazar had 40. He had 41
to do that.
He had 41 and 66 last year, so
and
close to a 50 point
not scoring.
Right.
Close to a 50 point pace, and dealt with injuries. So let's say Nazar, that's a 5th guy. Can Bowen Byram give you 50? Like he had 42 last year for Buffalo, with being the number 3 guy with like 7 power play points.
Yeah.
So he's going to get an elevated role on the power play. Here, he's going to get number 1 minutes. He's going to probably play a lot when Bedard is on the ice too. Like I think that could be attainable for him. So that's 6 guys that you think could reach 50 points. Like that makes a big difference. And I understand that is a lot of like ifs and buts and candies and nuts and all that stuff. But
like, have a Merry Christmas.
I feel like those are manageable or even conservative, especially for Bedard, numbers to reach for this group.
I don't think those 6 guys all getting at least 50 points next year is impossible by any stretch of the imagination.
Or you average, if Connor Bedard has 100 points, then one of those guys not reaching 50 doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I mean,
I
don't think that's out of control. Like, oh my God,
No, they're not absurd.
That's not out of the question. If anything, the one guy that might struggle to get the 50 out of that group the most could be Tyler Bertuzzi. Like, was that the outlier season last year? Is that what we're going to get every year? But you'll have more than 2. He is with
Jeff Blashill. He will have 900 points, my friend.
You'll have more than 2.
He was like second in the league in power play goals last year.
You'll have more than 2 50-point guys next year.
You have to.
You'll have more. You had 2 last year. You'll have more than 2. I'm willing to say that with my whole damn chest.
Yeah,
that will happen. Like that, I'm confident. Not pretty confident. I am confident. You'll have more than 2 50-point scorers on this team.
Oh, you better. If you don't, you're a lottery team. That's for sure. All right. So with this conversation in mind, the 3 of us came up with our opening night lineups based on what is actually on the roster now. We will share them one by one next on CHGO Blackhawks. Our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your baseball season, and Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free shopping. They've got a huge selection. They've got a location near you in Illinois, as far south as Champaign, as far north as South Beloit. And good news for you, the folks at Good News have brought back their Tea Time Vape, lemonade flavored, perfect on the golf course or out walking a dog or whatever. It's wonderful. It's my favorite. And take advantage of Sunnyside's Stash Pass, their summer rewards program that lets you earn rewards simply by visiting and making qualifying purchases. Every visit earns a stamp, bringing you closer to your next reward. That's live now through September while supplies last. So head over to their website for only the best under the sun, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Use our promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Sunnyside Dispensary, only the best under the sun, only for 21 plus or Illinois MedCard holders.
Summer heat is here, and your AC is working harder than ever. And if you don't want to set it to 78 degrees, you say, F that, I wanted a cool 68 degrees in my house. Then you need to make sure it's ready to go, and you need to make sure Four Seasons has had a chance to inspect it and make sure that it's going to keep you cool all summer. You can call Four Seasons today and schedule a complete AC tune-up for just $89.95. And whether your air conditioner stops working, you got a clogged drain, or you need an extra electrical outlet installed, Four Seasons has you covered. Their expert technicians are available for 24/7 service and emergency services on holidays, nights, weekends, at no extra charge. Trusted by homeowners across the region, Four Seasons has earned more than 30,000 5-star Google reviews and maintains an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. They are your trusted local experts for heating, air conditioning, plumbing, sewer, and electric. Go to fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their money-saving offers and coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
All right, we are back on CHGO Blackhawks. Hey, do us a favor, by the way. We have over 400 people watching. Hit that like button. If you think we're stupid, hit that like button. If you think we're smart, hit it twice. Actually, twice might undo it. So hit it 3 times.
Hit it 3 times. Yeah.
Just to be safe. Those likes are very, very helpful in getting us to move up the YouTube algorithms, which are always mysterious and always changing. All right, who wants to go first? Should we let let's let Mario go first. He's winning in 84-0 after all, because he had 3 months to.
So once he reveals
3 months,
lineup,
you wish I had 3 months off. I wish I had 3 months off.
So this is your 84-0 prediction.
This is my Blackhawks 84-0.
Blackhawks 84-0.
Yes, the 2025 era.
How about 84 points or no? That could be the game we do here.
Yeah. This morning at 4:45, when my son decided that he was against going to sleep, I thought, let me fire up Puckpedia and just throw together a lineup and see what comes out the other end. So this is what I put together for how the lineup looks right now. Obviously, things could change. If you ask Kyle Davidson, doesn't sound like it will. The forwards group, you got Tyler Bertuzzi, Connor Bedard, and Roman Kanserov on your top line. Anton Frondell is the second line center. I put him with Tavo and Frank Nazar. I think Nazar as the third center is going to be a fluid situation, looking at who the wings are and who the options are. I think
it also feels like a wasted resource.
Yeah, I feel like he'll end up in the top 6 more often than he'll be third center, but who knows how it'll go. The third line, I have Oliver Moore with Ryan Green and Nick Lardis. You could also put Oliver Moore at center and Ryan Green on the wing. I'd be happy with that. That's fine. Also, I don't know how long Teuvo Teravainen would even be in the top 6. If he plays like he did last year, put Nick Lardis or Oliver Moore up there, or you could put Bertuzzi with Frondell and put Ryan Green with Bedard, as he played a large portion of last season with. The fourth line is unsurprising with Cole Smith, Ryan Donato, and Jordan Greenway. I think, as we've kind of talked about since yesterday, that's a fourth line. Like, that's an NHL fourth line, should be reliable.
And a pretty good one, actually.
Defensively, it sounds like Bowen Byram is leaning towards being primarily on the left side. But for this, I put him on the right with Vlasic just to kind of even out the offense-defense pairings. But I got Byram with Vlasic, Levshinov with Kaiser, Sam Renzel with Ian Cole, and I do have Kevin Korchinski as the 7th defenseman. We'll see how that goes. And Spencer Knight, Arvid Soderblom, that's what I have right now. I would prefer Drew Comezzo win a spot, but until he does, Soderblom's the backup. But I think there's going to be definitely a open and hearty competition for that backup spot between him and Soderblom when training camp opens.
All right. Makes sense to me. Greg?
All right. My lineup is based on Nazar, Frondell, Bedard playing center, as it sounds like that's how they're going to start the year. That doesn't mean it's not going to stay that way 84 games. I agree with Mario that I think Nazar eventually plays some wing.
End of the season there.
But this is how I see them starting, and I have Ryan Green starting on the top line with Bedard and Kanserov. I have Green there because I know we said all last year that he's not a first line guy. Probably better off down in the lineup. But the roster built right now, he's the best line mate Bedard's ever had. Just based on production and he reads the game and
a smart
plays
player.
it at the same mental level as Connor
he's
Bedard.
a heady player.
I mean,
it's true.
It's terrible to say that, but he's the best line mate who complemented him greatly than anybody else that's ever played there. So they've got chemistry.
Yeah.
So why not start the season? This is opening night roster. This isn't set in stone for 84 games. So start him there where you have Bedard and Green that had the chemistry. Green's number would have looked a lot better last year, but he had the shooting percentage snake bite him hard last year. A lot of goal posts, a lot of missed open nets. He cashes in on 3 or 4 more of those this year, and you're talking, another 20-goal scorer possibly. So I'm not cementing him there, but I just think it makes sense for him to start with Bedard just based on how they played last year, and then let Kanserov kind of build off that chemistry. I have Nick Lardis on the second line with Frondell and Tyler Bertuzzi. I think with Frondell and Bertuzzi, the way they can create space for Lardis will make him very dangerous out there. He should have some good looks with Bertuzzi retrieving pucks in the corners and Frondell getting to the front of the net and taking away the eyes. Yeah. So third line, I have Nazar there just because that's what they're telling us the plan is. I like more with Nazar. They've got good speed. They've got good chemistry. And you put Teravainen in there, it's not your typical third line, but you're not going to have a typical third line if those are your 3 centers.
I mean,
but that's a good defensive line too.
That's a good all-around third line. Like Tavo, Nazar, and Moore probably all play penalty kill at some point, and also Frank Nazar and Oliver Moore and Teuvo Teravainen can generate offense. So they play how you want.
It's not as good defensively as, say, when you had Dickinson and McCabe out there, but it's better offensively than with those guys.
Yeah.
So Teuvo gives you the defensive responsibility, the two-way. He's got some offensive game. I don't think he's going to be as bad as he was last year as long as he's healthy.
I hope not.
And then the fourth line, I have the same with Donato, Smith, and Greenway down there. I think that's the type of line where, Greenway and Smith know coming into the season, you're our fourth line guys. You're the guys that are going to go out there and do the dirty work. If we need you guys to go out there and change the momentum of a game or start a period, start a game, and go out there and set a tone, that's your job. I think they'll excel at that. And then I have the same defensive pairs with Vlasic and Byron. Byron playing on the right side. Kaiser, Levshunov were good together last season. I think Kaiser is almost like another coach for Levshunov out there. And Colin Rinzel. I think Korchinski, as long as he's within the organization come opening night, he'll be on the NHL roster because I don't think they'll try to risk losing him to waivers. And I actually have Drew Comesso winning that second because he's the better goalie.
Oh, I agree.
He's the better goalie.
He's at least as good.
He's proven. I don't think he needs another year in AHL.
Can he give you an 880 save percentage?
I think he can. Listen, if you're talking about you want this team to be playing meaningful games down the stretch, you can't have a liability playing 20 games a year in goal.
A buns goalie.
Yeah. I mean, that could cost you 4, 5, 6, 10 points.
Right.
And if you're out of a wild card spot at the beginning of April by 8 points, you'll know why.
Yeah.
All right, my turn. I will go next because I'm the last one to go. I have Connor Bedard as my first line center. Yeah. Kanserov is the right wing because
Back in from that limb,
that's basically what Kyle Davidson is telling us is the plan for now. And look, Bertuzzi had a career year last year. I'm not messing with it. Him and Bedard had some decent chemistry, so I'm keeping that together. I really would prefer Frondell at wing just because I think it does solve the problem of a line mate for Bedard. And if you had Frondell, Bedard, and Kanserov as your top line, I'd feel really good about that. But they are hell-bent on playing him at center, so that's where I've got him. I've got Frank Nazar on the right wing because, as we said earlier, I think having him as a third-line center, as much as I think he can do it and as much as I believe he can play center, that's one of your most dynamic offensive players, and just by being on the third line, you're going to be minimizing how often he's on the ice. So I also like him as a secondary scoring option, and then I have Tavo on the left wing to be a distributor to two guys who are more of the goal-scoring type than the playmaking type. Not that Frondell and Nazar can't make plays, but Tavo is a pass first, pass second, pass third kind of a guy, and I think to have guys that skilled playing with him could really help out big time. That third line, to me, if I'm setting a line in stone and saying don't change it all year, it's Green, it's center with Moore and Lardis on the wings. I think that's a really good third line. You get a little bit of everything. You get the headiness from Ryan Green, the intelligence, the ability to play two ways. You've got Oliver Moore on the forecheck, using that speed with some offensive upside, and then you've got the pure goal scorer, Nick Lardis, on the right wing. I just think that just makes all the sense in the world. And then the fourth line, we're all lockstep on with Donato, Smith, and Greenway. I was thinking about going the same way as Mario with the D pairs, but I think it is so important to have Bowen Byram feel as comfortable and as confident as he possibly can. You have invested so much in this guy. To start him on his offside immediately to start the season, I don't know if I love that idea. He said yesterday that he prefers to play on the left side. He's more comfortable there. So if that's where he's more comfortable, do it. I like him on the right side too. I said a couple days ago that every highlight I see where he looks awesome, he's on the right side. I think it's just coincidental, but he's more comfortable there. Fine. You're the number one defenseman. We're going to put you there. I'm putting Wyatt Kaiser on his right side. He has shown the ability to play both sides. And I think Wyatt Kaiser is the kind of player where you give him a job, he's going to do it. He's not going to overthink it. He's really intelligent. I think a future coach in this league. He can handle that probably better than anybody. That also gives me the opportunity to put Vlasic as my second pair left defenseman, and I can put him to babysit to start Artem Levshunov or Sam Rinzel as the season goes on, depending on who is maybe struggling the most in terms of defensively, because I think we can expect a few more struggles from Levshunov and Rinzel next year. So I have it as Levshunov for now. And then my third pair, kind of the same idea. Ian Cole is my left defenseman and Sam Rinzel as the right, and Kevin Korchinski is my extra. And I wonder if they'll do, matchup based, get Korchinski in the lineup. He's also capable of playing both sides. So if Rinzel struggles or Levshunov struggles, or you're playing a speedy lineup and you want to get Korchinski in there versus Ian Cole, you can do that. And then my goalies are Spencer Knight and Drew Commesso because, look, I am very confident in saying today that Drew Commesso is at least as good as Arvid Soderblom.
Yeah.
At worst, it's a wash.
Yeah,
and at some point, you got to give him a look.
I think this will actually be a competition in training camp. I don't think it'll be down to, well, Arvid's been the backup, so he's just going to stay there. I really do think it'll be a competition, and yeah, I agree. I think Drew should win that competition.
All right, we are going to hit the break zone. We'll continue this conversation next. Then we're going to get into some of the more recent free agent moves that have happened today and talk about some winners and losers from yesterday. That's next on CHGO Blackhawks. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Looking for some gear to make your brand stand out apart from the crowd? Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. They've got a partnership with 40 colleges, including 10 Big Ten schools. That's all there are, right? Just 10 because it's a Big Ten. As part of their campus collection.
It's 1990.
The Big Ten schools are Ohio State, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan State, Penn State, Purdue, and those Pudwack cowards at USC. We hate them. Wear the hat so I can swear at you in public. Head to brandedbills.com and use our code BBCHGO15 for 15% off your first order. Again, brandedbills.com, code BBCHGO15.
You know that moment, the one when you realize that you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or at a gas station 3 states away. I've been there too. I had a pair of sunglasses clipped here on my collar while I was tying off a boat. Reached over and bloop, they went right down to the bottom of Fox Lake. But then I found Shady Rays, and it's changed the game. These sunglasses are made for real life. They are seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. The best part is if you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair, no guilt trip, just replacements. So now you can actually wear your sunglasses without fear on hikes, at concerts, on the boat, wherever you need your sunglasses, sometimes at night. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. You can go to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGOSR for 50% off of 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Again, shadyrays.com. Use that code CHGOSR. All
right, we are back on CHGO Blackhawks, and now that we've run through this drill, now that we've talked about it, they need more. I don't know. It's just like we said earlier, they're counting on a lot to go right.
Yeah, and it's been the plan apparently, and there are a lot of ifs, but you drafted these guys to be these guys. So are they all going to reach their full potential this season? No, but you need to get closer to the finished product, and I think you will. You get Bedard out there for the full season, and you get Nazar out there for the full season, or as close as you can get to it. That's going to help. You have your, I think the biggest thing that, people are anxious about Roman Kansaroff because he's never played in the NHL. And you're like, oh, you're going to make him first-line winger from day one with no NHL experience. Yeah, that's definitely something to be a little concerned about. Like, well, we don't know what he's going to be. But if you watch him in the KHL, he plays an NHL style of high. I don't think he's going to be a completely lost rookie out there. He's played in
I don't think so either.
One of the top leagues in the world and excelled at it. In Frondell, we saw that he had no problem adjusting to the NHL last season. That doesn't mean they're both have their struggles, but I don't think it's going to be the same as taking a kid straight out of juniors and throwing him in the top line. So they are going to need a lot to go right. And will it happen? I'm not a gambling man, despite what my Twitter account says these days.
You don't have to. You're loaded.
It's a lot to put your flag in, but that's what Kyle Davidson's doing. So if what he envisions happens, he's going to look like a genius. And if it doesn't, he's going to be looking for a job.
Yeah, I think that's what I come back to now. Kind of that sentiment that we've had as we've previewed what could or could not happen this offseason, and what might transpire with trades, through the draft, through the start of free agency and everything, is that like what Kyle Davidson is doing and building and how he's operating is putting his name on the process. And if the process fails, well, that's on him. And the section of the fan base that want the Blackhawks to not do well so Kyle Davidson gets fired, if that happens, then congratulations, your quote-unquote favorite hockey team did bad and they fired their GM. I hope you feel good.
But they'll be right.
But they'll be right. Yeah, exactly.
All that matters on the internet is being right.
But if it ends up working out and the way that these young guys progress, give you the results that you're looking for, then this process, you continue with it and you work with it. And I think that is what this season will hinge on, is those players taking that step. And if they don't, then the job of the guy who put it all in place is on the line, and that's why he's in that position. He's in the position to put the team together how he feels it's best. And if how he feels is best doesn't work, then you'll have to change it. But if it does work, then this whole process has been worth pushing forward and progressing the Blackhawks to get to a point where we're talking about like this young group being competitive and improving year over year. They're going to have more should have more points in the standings than last year. Does it get them to a wild card chase? Probably not. But I think if it's progression and you see those steps, that's what you lean on. That's what you lean into as far as this team moving forward. And there's more of those guys coming too. You got Nestrasil, you got West, you've got Vanacker, you've got Spellacy. A lot of people talking about Spellacy, first year pro this year for him. Like you got Boisvert, and he's beefed up. He took advantage of Bona's
15 pounds
beef
of growth
in the month of May.
That is crazy that Chloe's putting the picture up now. That those pictures are
That's
taken
the same guy.
less than 3 months apart.
Right.
That is insane.
That's wild.
That looks like 2-year difference.
It's a kid who hit the gym
from 190 to 205
in less than 3 months.
Now, players lose a ton of weight during the season, and then some they all struggle with kind of maintaining that weight. So I don't think Boisvert will play at 205 all year, but
still,
it's a good place to start.
That raises your baseline
and returned a man.
That raises your baseline of where you are physically. So there's still a lot of those guys in the system, and as the wheel spins, like there's going to be more of those guys getting into the lineup as time goes on. And if it all works out, then we're not going into free agency and being like they have to fix the team through free agency and trades. It's like if you have a lot of those guys in house, then you can just kind of tinker around the edges with free agent moves and things like that, and feel confident in what you have in your core, and then eventually pay them all.
I think an underrated aspect of this season is it's Jeff Blashill's second year. So you're not going to have to spend all of training camp learning what he wants you to do.
Right.
And that
and him getting to know guys,
and
too.
then that carries over into the first 6 weeks of the season, gelling and all that. Like, he knows these guys. They know him. So training camp is going to be more of not learning what I want you to do. It's what I want you to do. Now it's let's get out there and get better. I think that's an underrated factor. Not having year 2 of Blashill. All these guys had their exit interview and were given what they need to improve on, what they need to be ready for. And if they're not ready for it, that's on them. You find somebody who is.
Yeah. We did not give our 13th forwards because we didn't have graphic space. Who is the typical healthy scratch on this team in your mind?
I had a full 23-man lineup. I had both Mangiapane and Landon Slaggert as forward scratches. I don't know what you do with Mangiapane. I don't think he gets into the NHL lineup. I also don't think he necessarily needs to be in Rockford. So he could be your 13th forward, and you could you could place Slaggert in Rockford if you want. He's one of your first guys that comes up. Or, as you were kind of talking about with the defensive situation, you have those guys you can mix and match and go matchups with the forwards. Or if Jordan Greenway is not the guy that you hope that he can be, or Cole Smith or whoever on the fourth line, those can be guys that you switch in and out of the fourth line and still give you that style of play. It's not as big, but the relentlessness, the speed, the pressure offensively. Slaggert, I think you could, if you in a pinch needed to have him be on the PK, he could do it. So I think those are 13th and 14th forward options.
Yeah, I agree. Those are probably the two guys. Mangiapane is kind of just going to be here because, he signed.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't rule out Kyle Davidson finding a place for him. I mean, he found a place for Andre Burakovsky, and
A salary helps, though, having that $3.6 million.
I mean, so is there a tanking team that needs to reach the floor come training camp? Is there another team that loses two or three of their fourth liners in the first couple days of training camp? So things can happen, but if he's here, he's going to be an extra. And Slagger's probably that guy too, because I think he's
Was that really loud?
That was really loud.
I tried it not to be. It's a Summerberry sparkling water. This is my red, white, and blue contribution to the show.
They're not a sponsor, but
there you go. No, they're not yet.
Slaggert probably makes the most sense to stay up because he does give you a little bit of an element. If you need a little more speed on that fourth line or on the PK, I think Slaggert could be a specialist PK guy if you're going to play him. Maybe if you're playing a team that has a top power play, you put him out there. At this point, I think Landon Slaggert is who he is. Going back to Rockford to play for a year isn't going to change his trajectory of his career. No. So, have him be up here and let, especially when you look at all the first-year pros that are going to be in Rockford, I'd rather have it's not going to kill me if Landon Slaggert sits for 45, 50 games. Because then that allows you to play Vanacker and Spelisi and Boisvert and all these other guys, big minutes in Rockford. Mm-hmm. So it's got a dual benefit.
Yeah, I have Mangiapane and Slaggert as my extra forwards too. Mangiapane gets thrown into the deal. You get a better pick to take it on. Cool. And I have nothing against him. It feels like really nice first impression. Then he gets hurt. And then you kind of forget he exists. So maybe we're writing him off a little too quickly. But when you just look at what they've brought in and you look at what they've got already, it's hard to find a spot for him.
Yeah. And I think, he plays that kind of hard to play against style. But you brought in Greenway and Smith, who are both much larger than he is. So
and do the same thing.
Yeah. Right. But at 7-8 inches and 50 pounds bigger, they're Greenway is a monster and Cole Smith is a pretty big dude too, and Mangiapane is 5'10", 5'11", plays like a bruiser 6'4", but isn't.
Yeah, he plays more with that edge to his game,
and maybe he looks so much more edgier because he was the only guy who was doing it at the end of the year. So maybe you find a taker for him. Listen, Jay, you said it before the show, as proven by the Mike Greer taking Darnell Nurse's contract and giving up a fairly good young player to have the right to take on the full contract. There's no such thing as an untradeable player in the NHL. Everybody talks about bad contracts.
Well, my God, this is going to strap them for years. No, they'll get rid of it. They always find a way.
Seth Jones' contract got moved, and you got a first-round pick and a franchise goalie out of the deal. Andre Burakovsky got moved.
You got an asset for Andre Burakovsky.
You got a late-round pick, and you didn't have to retain anything. There's no such thing as an untradeable contract anymore. Somebody will roll the dice on Mangiapane, especially a team that needs
Chicago has PTSD from Brian Bickle and Teuvo Teravainen, which is understandable.
Different league.
But it was a different league at the time, and that was a massive mistake by the GM.
Well, look, the Teuvo full circle came back.
And now people want to trade a prospect to get rid of him.
Well,
yeah.
Again, full circle.
All right, let's. We got a super chat we got to get to. Then we're going to talk about some of the winners and losers in our minds over the last couple days. 90s Nasty Nate says, "What do Anhorn and Mackey AHL signings mean for the current defensive prospects like Korchinski and everyone else, someone on the way out, just filler.
They needed to fill out their AHL roster.
I mean, the only guy that
they didn't bring back Kuzman or Ryan Mast.
Right.
So your AHL defensemen were basically Tage Harding, Furlong, Jake Furlong,
Yeah.
and then if Del Mastro or Korchinski clear waivers and get down, then they're there. So they needed to sign those guys.
And you always need guys in the AHL to play defense for injuries, for rosters. Some of those guys, with the way AHL roster turnover is, you can never have too many guys, and there's no roster limit in AHL. You're gonna have 40 guys.
Right,
Like it's not a 23-man limit. So, it's just for depth. Those signings have no effect on anybody who's going to play at the NHL level, and that also shows me the amount of defensemen they're bringing in is they are expecting at the very least Kevin Korchinski to start the season in the NHL, if not both him and Del Mastro, but there's just not enough room.
Maybe just
right
carry
now.
8.
Yeah, maybe.
You could.
Yeah, you could.
All
They
right.
they did at parts of the
and,
season last year.
As Clyde points out, Ashton Cumbie is playing in Rockford this year too. That's another defenseman. So
There you go.
they got and good for a couple of those guys earning their first ever NHL two-way deals. Dylan Boucher and
Milomak.
that guy, the guy with all the Y's in his name, Connor M. Those guys have been busting their humps in the riding a lot of buses in the ECHL and AHL, and they get an NHL contract. They earned it. It's good. Good for them. I mean, I don't expect them to play in the NHL. If they do, things have gone really bad.
They've had a lot of injuries.
Good for them to have that NHL contract. They earned it.
Yeah, if you followed the Ice Hogs intently last year, especially post trade deadline, those guys
They played big roles.
They played a lot of minutes and they
punched a lot of faces.
They endeared themselves a lot to that organization.
Yeah.
So good for them.
All right, let's get the super chat knocked out, and then we'll move on to our winners and
just did.
losers.
That was the super
thank you.
chat.
That was
That
super
was the
chat.
super chat.
My bad. All right,
Welcome
sweet.
to 2 minutes ago.
All right, I didn't really thought it was just a comment. My bad.
I have a little, just interesting nerd thing from the number one hockey nerd, hawk hater in the world, Dom Lucian. He says, now that the dust has settled, average team net rating per division. The Atlantic Division is, on average, a plus 9.3 net rating for the guys that they brought in and lost. The Metro Division, plus 8.1. Central Division, plus 2.1. The Pacific average net rating is a minus 19.5. Basically saying every team in the Pacific is buns.
Hey, more pillow fights.
I mean, look at what the Kings did. They added a lot of
Old guys
who their net ratings are bad.
Hey man, if this was 2019, the Kings would be a Stanley Cup favorite.
Oh sure, and
Kings brought in Zuccarello, Lawton, Gustafson,
Corey
Perry, and Eric Holla.
a lot of old guys.
Metro is 38.
You think about the Sharks, like are Trouba and Nurse net positives? Not really. I know we wanted Trouba, but
Boy,
not
people hated
at
that
the
signing.
not at the term and the money that he got.
No, exactly. I mean, you're, and then as I said, I don't know how do you take Darnell Nurse's entire contract without getting a sweetener back? You gave up,
And you
a
gave
decent,
you gave the sweetener.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mount McDoulan goes the other way.
It's I think the Mike Greer Hall of Fame ceremony is on
Cracks in the armor.
It's on, doing a great job drafting, but yikes! I mean,
Sounds like someone we're familiar
But
with.
this- yeah.
And the perception of him.
but this is what happens when you don't have the defensive pipeline, and that's what Kyle Davidson tried to build up first, where drafting Korchinski and Levshunov and Rinzel and trying to solidify the back end first, so you don't have to go out desperate and pay $70 million for 2 plus 30 defensemen on the back end.
It
of their
takes longer
career.
to develop them, which is why it
trade
feels
and
slow.
sign your entire
And like those
defensive
guys
group.
those guys give time because they Dickinson's still developing. He'll be better this year and get. But the two guys you drafted in the first round, Veerhoff and Lind, those guys are 3-4 years away. So Trouba and Nurse each have 4 years. That kind of they're the bridge to those guys. It's just not a very good bridge.
They might also get Morgan Riley.
Sure. Okay.
It's crazy. You could have just kept Mario Ferraro for half the price of Trouba or Nurse.
You could have,
in theory.
but they don't have the name.
Jets.
They don't have the name recognition though. I mean, those guys
Sure.
you're paying and yeah. As I said, we all sat here for the last month saying we'd like Jacob Trouba, but not at 4 years.
Yeah.
$8.5 million. No.
3 max would have been good.
Yeah, 2-year deal. The money isn't what is bugging me. It's the 4 years. If
Well,
Davidson
those
would've paid-
third and fourth years at that price tag, even with the
yeah.
cap going up, I don't think you trust Trouba to be worth
Right.
it at that point.
All right, winners and losers. Here are the most recent big signings. Alex Ovechkin is back with the Capitals.
That's awesome.
Not a huge surprise. John Carlson, late night last night, went to Tampa, despite the Hurricanes giving
Tampering
up.
Bay
Yeah,
Lightning.
right.
Like that? See what I did there?
I see.
Anders Lee, after the show yesterday, went to Utah. Who else? What were some of the other big ones? Zuccarello, we mentioned, went to the Kings.
You got an extension just this afternoon for Jakub Dobeš with the
Yep.
Canadians, so that's another good young player
They got
that
their core locked
part of their
up.
core is signed, and that's a good move.
And Stenberg signed his entry-level deal for what it's worth.
Masterclass.
Blake Coleman and Oli Mata get traded to the Wild from the Flames for Jacob Middleton.
That was
And like 2 or 3 picks too.
Yeah.
3 picks. That was
The second and a third and a fourth.
That was funny this afternoon. So I was at the Blackhawks Ice Center for the final, well, not the final day, but today's development camp, and I was sitting with Tracy Myers as that trade happened, and like for like 15 minutes, all the reports was like it's Middleton for Coleman and Mata, and we were just like, that makes no sense. Like, how
that's
is
a
that?
terrible
How
trade.
is that like equal value? Like that was, and then we were like, and then we saw it was three draft picks, and we were like, oh my god, 3 draft.
Well,
like it was
it's-
just how the news trickled out was pretty funny.
Keegan Colasar ended up in Detroit from Vegas.
See, that one, I love Keegan Colasar. I would have rather have made that trade than sign Cole Smith. And I think
Yeah.
Cole Smith is going to be fine for what he's brought in to do, but man, I love Keegan. Imagine Jordan Greenway and Keegan Colasar on your fourth line.
I would have loved to have that.
I would have rather done that.
Colasar
move,
is
but-
a SOB to play
yes,
against. Yeah.
and a really good guy too. Another good character guy in the room.
Yeah, he played for the Wolves for a number of years.
Yeah, I got to know him a little bit when he played there when I was covering the AHL, and just awesome dude. And that I would have rather done that move.
The other one that got my couple, Marcus Pettersson goes from Vancouver to the Rangers in a trade, first round pick. And then Utah traded Sean Durzi and Cole Beaudin
Bad trade.
to the Rangers for Vincent Trocheck. I that feels like Utah just wanting to do something.
Utah's not had a great offseason.
Well, yeah, like they're
They've gotten
they're
older.
trying stuff, but I don't. I know Trocheck's a good player. I'm not trying to
He's a
poo-poo
good
Vincent
player,
Trocheck's
Trocheck,
a
but
good
he's
player, yeah.
like
also one of
Durzi's
the
good
most
and Beaudin is
overrated
like
players.
yeah, I think Beaudin is
Beaudin is a good prospect.
stud.
Durzi's a really good defenseman.
Yeah.
He can't stay healthy. That's
And they
his
gave him a
problem.
third too, so that's a lot.
There's a lot for Vincent Trocheck, who I think is a good player, but for some reason people think he's a great player.
He plays for the Rangers.
But people thought that before.
He's
when
an
he was-
Olympic champion.
So
How dare you?
But with some of the moves, and Utah signed Anders Lee too, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Yes,
Yes,
they
they
did.
did.
They went from being a young and exciting team to being a
They got old
hey,
fast.
we're wearing New Balance and listening to the National kind of team.
Hey.
I know.
Well,
I
mean,
that was below the belt. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I don't think it's a terrible. I don't think it's that terrible because you're trying to win. Like you're trying to improve.
They're
to win.
adding some veteran presence to a team that made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I still look at.
They're ready for a boost.
I still look at Cooley and Gunther and Keller. You got Nick Schmaltz who's still there. Then you add Trocheck and Lee. You have Lawson Krause. You should keep Barrett Hayton, I think.
Yeah, we should talk about that too.
I love
and
everything about
like you
that.
lose Durzi, but you have Sergachev, Uyghur, John Marino's a good defenseman, and then you're expecting to play Dmitry Shimashev a bit more. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. Keeps you. It definitely keeps you in the playoff picture.
It feels
Sure.
like one more than you need it. Like they're a good team. I don't know if Vincent Trocheck and Anders Lee make them cup contenders, I'd prefer to have Jersey and Beaudin over Trocheck, especially for a team with all those guys you mentioned, Mario, are young. Like, that's a team that could be good for a while. Like, Utah is really talk about like a team rebuilding from scratch, and it's taken forever to get where they're here, and they're finally here.
Well,
and I get it. I get the mindset. It's what we're asking the Hawks to do, right? Add veterans and make them better and move the needle forward. But like, I don't like moving Beaudin and Jersey. That's to me. I'm not going to call them losers, but like,
it seems like an overpay. But you know what? If Vincent Trocheck and Anders Lee get them into the second round of the conference finals, then it's worth it.
All right, I'm going to go with my winners first, and this is really under the radar. And the free agent signings, just so I could technically qualify, Ovechkin comes back, Boone Jenner, Vincent Desharnais, Timothy Liljegren. The Washington Capitals have assembled one hell of a forward group.
Well, you bring in Kyrou and Tuck before free agency even starts.
Yeah,
right, and you got a tremendous young coach.
This forward group of Strome, Ovechkin, Alexei Protas, PLD, Jordan Kyrou, Alex Tuck, Ilya Protas, Tom Wilson, Ryan Leonard, Boone Jenner, Anthony Beauvillier, and Justin Sordiff. That is as strong of a top 12 as you're going to find in the league.
Miroshchenko too.
And the worst part is they're in the East, so they're going to be battling it out for a wild card spot.
I know, but
that's a good team.
The Caps quietly had a really good offseason.
They basically said we have to prepare for life without Alex Ovechkin. Alex Ovechkin saw what they did and said, "You know what? I want to play again."
That sounds fun.
That looks like a playoff team to me. That is definitely a playoff team.
And I think you trust Logan Thompson to be solid in
he
net.
was really good last year.
Yeah, a Vezina finalist.
Yeah. Who knows?
In full year of Cole Hudson.
In the mix,
You want to talk about a team that is rebuilt on the fly? That is what the Caps have done.
Well, they set themselves up for the immediacy of life after Ovechkin, and then he said, "I like what you did. I'll come back.
Keep playing. Yeah,
I'll come back and score 35 more goals for you this year. No problem.
I'll take another $9 million,
I'll
please."
Stand here like my controller battery died and still score 35 goals.
Just hit me in my spot, and we'll be fine.
I will stand in the same spot I've been standing in for the last 20 years, and somehow nobody will come over to defend me, and I will put the puck in the back of the net.
Yeah.
What do you got for a winner?
Well, that was going to be my winner.
Oh, okay.
So
who do you have for a loser?
Great minds think alike.
Or do you have a winner you want to talk about?
I'll say another team that I've liked what they've done to stay competitive, and to I think Minnesota has done a really good job, and I don't think that they had to do a lot. But I think I do like the move of adding Blake Coleman to the mix. I think for that team, you know who the top guys are. It's Boldy, it's Kaprizov, it's Eriksson Ek, it's Faber, Hughes, all those guys. But I think for that team to continue to insulate that group, you bring in Mata and Coleman, who can be bottom of your lineup guys, but guys that have won cups, guys that still bring you something positive. Blake Coleman was the guy that I hope the Hawks would have maybe tried to make a move on
all along.
So I think that's a good that's a good move, and I think for a team that had cup aspirations, I don't think that they really took any steps back.
I'm going to give credit to a guy we like to crap on this show for good reasons, but I think the Edmonton Oilers had a really good offseason. Stan Bowman found a taker for Darnell Nurse's contract that clears up a lot of space and got himself a player with some big upside in return. Figured out, on paper at least, the goaltending situation.
They have a living, breathing NHL goalie in Freddie Anderson.
Yeah, Freddie Anderson is the best goalie Connor McDavid has ever played in front of.
Yes,
without a doubt. And you also traded for Devin Levi to replace him when he's done. So you got your goaltender for now, you got your goaltender. If
you mesh the three goalies they have together, you got a pretty good aggregate goalie. That's what
Carolina did to win a Stanley Cup, so why not?
Pretty good aggregate goalie.
You got Freddie Anderson for the now, and you got Devin Levi for beyond that. Solve two problems. Your goaltender
and also
of
Tristan
now.
Jarry.
Sure. He's going to get bought out.
He's also there.
Yeah, he's there too. He's going to look great as a Bakerfield Condor this year.
Yeah.
But they did some good moves. They brought in brought in Kasperi Kapanen, who's a really good depth scorer there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they really improved their roster.
And they extended Dickinson and Murphy.
Yeah, which helps them defensively.
Yeah, I'll give you my losers are the Kings. We're in overtime, by the way, so switch over to allchgo.com to continue here for the next few minutes. Adding a bunch of old, familiar names doesn't necessarily make you better. I don't really understand what Ken Holland is doing. I guess he's looking at the Pacific and saying, like, it's anyone's game. We can certainly get in the playoffs. And when you bring in Matt Zuccarello and Scott Lawton and Corey Perry and Eric Halla, you better make the playoffs, especially when you just gave Artemi Panarin a massive contract. But it's not winning anything. It just feels like you're just extending the midness of the LA Kings. So I didn't love what they did. It's just, hey, I heard of that guy. Oh, he's 38. Oh, he's 39. Oh, he's 41. Oh, Lord. I don't know. I'm not really clear on the Kings' plan. They also kind of told Drew Doughty, like, we're not going to resign you right now. We'll see how the year goes and figure it out. So that is going to probably hang over the season a little bit. That uncertainty from him, and he's been in your organization for 50 freaking years, it feels like. So, yeah, I just don't love what the Kings did. I talked to her, but we both did, like, big money contracts. Like, there's ways out from under them. But you don't want to be talking about that day one, as some Sharks fans have been doing, of like, in 3 years we'll just buy Trouba out. You signed him 12 hours ago. Like, if you're talking about a buyout already, that probably means it wasn't the smartest investment.
They've got the cap space to absorb those guys, but eventually you're not, and you're still paying a lot of money for guys who may not be very good.
No,
which is not a good decision.
I'm not going to call the Sharks losers. I don't think that's true. I think they definitely got better in a lot of ways. But at what cost is kind of the question. And for all the heat the Hawks are taking, I don't know. I feel like San Jose should be getting as much, because I'd rather have Bowen Byram than Darnell Nurse or Jacob Trouba. But maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was. I think I saw it was Lee Griezmann pointed out that
I met Lee the other day.
Nice. Trouba and Nurse make more than Byram and Vlasic, and I don't know. I think I would, bias aside, I think I would trust a Byram Vlasic pairing to help me out more than a Nurse Trouba pairing. And admitting, I wanted Jacob Trouba. But I think as we've said, the length and the money that he got is not what I would have wanted him at. But yeah, I'm not going to call them the losers of the free agent period. I think a team that made a good signing in a vacuum with the Victor Arvidsson deal, Detroit. I don't think Patrick Kane's coming back. You got the whole Dylan Larkin situation going on. I think that's a team that the eyes are playing and all that. Like, I think the shine is completely worn off of it. You've had a lot of, shots to try and make the playoffs, and you've landed short each time. And I think now the guys that you all have kind of banked on getting you there, they're done with it. I don't think that they want to stick around. Now, they still got a lot of good young players. Seider, Edvinsson, Sandin Pellikka's a good player. But I just don't think you have enough to get you there, and it doesn't seem like they're going to really be able to land any guys that through free agency or trades that are going to be big additions, and you're probably on the path to losing Dylan Larkin.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Arvidsson's a good player. It makes them better. I just don't know why.
You fill the production that you lose with Kane on the wing, because Arvidsson's a 60-point guy. Kane was about a 50, 60-point guy. But even DeBrincat could be. I've seen some chatter around him, like maybe he's on the way out. Like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Come home.
I don't think the Red Wings had a very good July 1.
But they signed Vilmer Skoog, my favorite name of the day yesterday.
Vilmer Skoog.
Vilmer Skoog.
Zoinks. Skoog.
There's a bunch of teams that could be losers. The Ducks lost a lot on the defensive side and only replaced 4 guys with Nick Jensen. Have fun. The Buffalo Sabres. You trade away Bowen Byram. Yeah, you got Zellweger back, but Zellweger might be Bowen Byram in 2-3 years. You drafted Daxon Rudolph, but that's years away, and you don't replace Alex Tuck. You might I still think they're going to get Patrick Kane with Alcindor, but as of now, you haven't replaced Alex Tuck, and those aren't the same type of players. Also, the Carolina Hurricanes making absolutely no moves is strange. Not calling them losers just yet, but Anderson leaves, which probably saw that coming. They've got Bussy, and they've got I feel like that Family Guy sketch. They got Bussy, and they've got Pachekov, so they're pretty set young goalie wise. But giving up 2 assets, granted a late round draft pick and a AHL prospect at best, to get the signing rights to John Carlson and not signing him feels like a loss.
Yeah.
Especially when you lose him to a team you got to face at some point. There's lots of teams that are losing it, but it's only July 2nd.
Yeah,
there's a lot to go. There's no way Carolina is not doing something. They're going to find a way. They're probably just waiting. They probably had irons in the Zach Rowinski fires, which apparently
Sounded
never
like it,
really were.
Did you see the tweet from the Blue Jackets of the Men in Black?
That was
good.
cleverly done.
That was good.
So
there was some good social media yesterday.
maybe the Hurricanes are now like, hey, Dylan Larkin, I know we're not on your list, but how about we?
How about come and win?
Yeah, how about come play here?
Makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Frank Saravalli published the top 30 remaining free agents, and you talk about not getting a defenseman for Anaheim. Best defenseman available is Logan Stanley. Then he's got Andrew
went
Peak.
back to Winnipeg.
Unless it happened within the last few hours. I didn't see that. Andrew Peak, Carson Soucy, John Klingberg, Nick Blankenberg, Ben Hutton, Matt Grzelcyk. There's just not a lot of...
Carson Soucy's an underrated guy. He's a
fine.
Big physical guy.
He's fine, yeah.
But, yeah, if you...
He's not going to needle move.
If you move out Gudis, Trouba, Carlson, Zellweger, and replace it with Nick Jensen and Carson Soucy, that's a huge step back.
Yeah.
I know you got Jackson Lacombe, who's great, but can't do it all himself.
No.
We will see. All right, we're going to wrap things up. We are off tomorrow. We got a mini pod dropping, so make sure you check that out tomorrow. You're going to do that at 11 tomorrow, Chloe? 11 a.m. it will drop tomorrow, and then we'll be back on Monday, hopefully with some brand new Hawks and moves. And, of course, if anything happens over the weekend, we will be here for your emergency pod purposes. Talk to you soon on CHGO Blackhawks.
We all silly like the mayor.